You're tuned into Floridian Rollo. I'm your host, Floridian Rollo, and I'm coming back at you with another live stream. As you enter into the chat, make sure you hit the like button on your way in. The Cash App is pinned to the top. Without further ado, let's get to this content. Let's go.
Why we never seen him, really debating any seasoned vets that's out here? He always wanted to go to college campuses and try to debate with, college kids. And not nobody that's seasoned in any kind of conversation about America, Black Americans in particular, right? He always tried to go debate somebody like that. And this video right here that we're going to check out is the prime reason why he didn't do this, because Charlie Kirk got cooked by a young college student. Let's go ahead and check this out.
I want to talk a little bit about his policy on DEI. As you know, in his first weeks in office, he signed the executive order declaring that DEI is both unlawful and a threat to national unity. And
This pro-Black Phillip Scott is a racist. He's a racist. He is one of those racist YouTubers, Phillip Scott. He flips flops, ring around the collar type of character. And you're going to hear what he has to say. Now, he's talking about this young lady made Charlie Kirk run in circles. Really? We'll see about that. Let's go.
kind of want to ask you to elaborate on why DEI is unlawful.
Well, based on the Civil Rights Act, which I have disagreements with, but based on the Civil Rights Act, which is the law of the land, it says you shall not discriminate based on color, race, creed, or origin of nationality.
Yes.
And DEI definitionally does those things.
How does it definitionally do those things?
So, for example, if you say you are going to hire a certain amount of people or have scholarships only for a certain people, you are then prejudicing against another group.
Which group are you prejudicing against?
White people, Asians as well. I mean, white people are an easy one off the top of your head. So, for example, in the Harvard admissions case, I said this earlier, the average test score for a black individual was around 1,300 SAT, about 3.2 GPA. For a white or Asian, it would be about a 3.9 to 4 GPA and about nearly a perfect SAT. So you are disenfranchising and stereotyping and prejudicing against whites or Asians in favor of blacks.
You're not prejudicing against whites or Asians, though, because DEI is not on a race basis. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion of all people. Affirmative action is what is intended to address racial inequality.
What?
But DEI isn't on the basis of race.
What?
So DEI is a project of the affirmative action movement.
Exactly.
So one comes before the other. He signed an executive order against both, for the record, so I wasn't sure which one you were talking about.
I'm talking about DEI.
So DEI, it depends what we mean in practice. So I can give you one example. There are black-only graduation ceremonies at certain schools, or black-only dormitories.
But those are kind of student-led. I'm part of a black-only
let's play this out.
organization,
So
and it's run by students. It's not
fair
through
enough.
the school.
Let's play it out. So if there is a black-only, let's pretend, which it's not, that building is black-only. If I said that, if that building was
I'm
white,
like the campus center?
no, I said let's
okay.
pretend it's
yes,
not.
hypothetically, yes.
Hypothetically, if that building was white only, you would agree that's a violation of the Civil Rights Act.
Yes, but there
Hold
are
on,
no
but-
buildings on campus that are black only and white only. And by the way,
but there are on other campuses.
no,
though.
but in those dormitories that are like culturally specific, you don't have to be that culture to live there. They're not going to not allow you to be black to live in a black dormitory.
You would
no,
be
Ujima at
surprised.
Stanford. White people do live at Ujima. That's not.
Yeah, I don't know about that specific
go.
example, but if it says black-only dormitory,
But it doesn't say black only.
but okay, how about
not
this? How about
getting
if
the
we had?
point.
Well, it does.
It
Well,
doesn't. Where does
just
it
to
say
be-
that?
Just to be clear, well, in the title, but let's
No,
pretend
but
it says
where?
black.
Like what school?
It-
Where
He's
does
not
it say
getting the
black
Eastern,
only
Wa-
building?
Eastern Washington University, Portland State University, just off the top of my head, San Jose State University.
They say
Right.
black only dormitory? And if a white person were to apply to live there?
It's a black affinity
They would
cultural
not.
space of which only black individuals are accepted and governed for black individuals. But can we have white affinity cultural spaces?
You can have a white affinity cultural space. The activity is, the issue is
See,
that
I
you're
think
saying
that's against
black
the Civil Rights
only.
Act.
It's not black only. It's a black affinity cultural space. But
There we
anyone
go.
is invited if they would like to participate.
I would, first of all,
You cannot legislatively not
I agree.
allow someone of any race to
So-
participate in
no,
something. That doesn't exist.
We agree. That's the spirit of the diversity, equity, inclusion order, is that DEI in practice again, we have to go through example after example, is discrimination, prejudice,
well,
and
let's
segregation.
talk about DEI in practice. Let's talk about DEI programs in the workforce, because DEI programs in the workforce happen to benefit veterans. They benefit people with disabilities. They benefit people at an economic desperate. They benefit lots of people that is not just on the basis of race. And to me, it feels like you're conflating DEI with pro-blackness or black only, which is not the definition of DEI.
So let's take a high-profile DEI example. Is that cool? Just maybe one we can play around with.
Okay.
Which I got me in a lot of viral trouble, which I don't care. Which is pilots.
I got in a lot of viral trouble too.
Hey,
I was debating this guy.
I know. And he kept interrupting you.
He did.
I know, right? Which is this? Which is that? Let's say DEI. A project of DEI at United Airlines was that we want to get 40% of our pilots to be black or women of color, or women or people of color.
40%.
50. I'm sorry, to get up to 50. It was at like 6%. So therefore, they wanted to make a push towards that, and it was currently at 6%. We look at that and we say, "Wow, you're going to have to lower standards to get to that goal."
And he wasn't being facetious. He wasn't being disrespectful. He was saying some things that a lot of people don't want to hear. Let's continue.
Why would you have to lower standards?
Well, because
are you saying that black people are inherently inferior?
I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying that black people are only 13% of the population. So you want 13% of the population.
Women are not 13% of the population. Women.
So she don't care about the men. She don't care about her own man. She care about the women. And there's nothing wrong of, women looking out for each other and women doing women things. The thing is, she's concerned about women. She's not concerned about the men when it comes to the DEI. Now watch what happens.
Women are 50% of the population.
Yeah, but women do not make up a majority of people that want to become pilots. In fact,
women do not want to become pilots. Listen.
Vast majority of women don't want to be pilots.
Maybe they would want to become pilots if the barriers for entry weren't.
See, that now we're going down a different but equally fun direction, which is male-female differences. Men much more likely want to be involved in heavy machinery mechanics. They want to be pilots. They want to be tank operators. They want to be police officers. Whereas women much more likely want to be, I'll get to you, Mason. Don't worry, and I remember your name.
Yes, can Mason go? They won't let him go.
I'll let Mason go. I'll let.
So basically, he's trying to point some things out. Women more likely is not going to get into those fields. It's not to say it don't happen. It's just that you rarely see women take that role very serious. Anyway, let's go.
Now, let me interrupt here for a minute.
Here we go.
You see how just basic questions trip Charlie Kirk up?
No, it didn't.
This is their man. This is the guy. That's their hero that just asks him simple questions like, who said that? Where did you see that at? How are they doing that? When did they do that? Where did they do that? Right? Just asking simple questions, and he can't even answer them. Then he gets into, well, I'm white and I say so, right? He don't understand really what DEI is.
Yes,
he's trying to say it's a race-based thing. And
yes, he does. He know what DEI is. You trying to play this semantics nonsense. That's what you do. That's what you're known to do.
It was not a race-based thing, but they want to say, oh, DEI, black people in DEI, whatever, right? When we have done the research, and white women benefited off of DEI way more than black people. This is
here we go.
Why he did not want to debate any seasoned vet out here. If Charlie Kirk would have called me when he was alive and say, hey, he'd like to have a debate, I would gladly out here. If Charlie Kirk would have called me when he was alive and say, hey, he'd like to have a debate out here. If Charlie Kirk would have called me when he was alive and say, hey, he'd like to have a debate out here. If Charlie Kirk would have called me when he was alive and say, hey, he'd like to have a debate out here. If Charlie Kirk would have called me when he was alive and say, hey, he'd like to have a debate out here. If Charlie Kirk would have called me when he was alive and say, hey, he'd like to have a debate, I would gladly debate Charlie Kirk. And I would have loved if he'd have brought up that single parent household talk. Oh, I would have loved it, because he'd have been walking right down where I want him to walk, or talking about black crime. Oh, I would have loved that conversation. Oh, I would have loved it. But he's spewing all this stuff, and when he's challenged by somebody that actually got a little knowledge, right? Some knowledge, he gets tripped up on his words because he's not used to really being challenged by somebody black.
This guy is so comical, so disrespectful. He wish he was Charlie Kirk. He wish he had the means of Charlie Kirk, the reach of Charlie Kirk.
Black that can really articulate themselves and get him to just say, prove what you're saying. Oh, they got black only spaces. You say, yeah, that's student led. That's not by the institution, which that would be illegal by the Civil Rights Act. You understand? So this is why he never wanted to debate nobody who's a seasoned vet in this. Now, let's continue, because this young sister just easily cooking Charlie Kirk. But this they man, this they hero. This the guy that say he wants to debate. Oh, he was just debating ideas. He can't debate crap when he don't even know simple facts. Well, let's go ahead and continue.
Just, Mason, have some patience. We did this last time, okay? But do you understand, at least from our perspective, because it's no good for us to go back and forth again, maybe from our perspective, that we worry that the pursuit of diversity can mean the compromising of excellence?
Charlie Kirk, this country is diverse. You can't just say the pursuit of diversity is compromising excellence. Diversity literally just means difference. This country is 13% black, it's 14% immigrant, it's 1/5 of every person in this country is Hispanic, it's 7% homosexual, and 50% of the country disagrees with you.
Okay,
diversity is America. You cannot say
all of that is true.
That you
Hold on.
are America first if you do not care about half of America.
I care about them so much, in fact.
You care about them so much that you don't want to give them.
I didn't interrupt.
See, this is where it gets dicey, because she's saying that he don't care about America, yet he say he cares about America, and she's interrupting. She's being a spoiled brat. Watch what happens.
Access
I care
to
about
equal rights.
Well, hold on. No one said rights. Hold on a second. No. I care about them.
It is. It's equal rights. It's
Naima,
equal
let me
access.
Let me finish. Now, who's interrupting who? I care about them so much. I want the only thing that they're ever judged on is to be their character or their competency, not their skin color.
Okay, so you want it to be a meritocracy. You want it to be so let's talk about a meritocracy.
Okay.
What experience does Kash Patel have to run the FBI?
He has amazing experience.
No, he doesn't. He wanted to start a UFC fighting program in the FBI.
He has amazing experience. I got 5.
Oh my gosh, this ruly woman, this woman is so disrespectful. She's saying that the guy that runs the FBI don't have experience. Oh my goodness.
5 words in. He was the most important thing. He was a public defender.
That's not what that's not the job of the FBI. He has no experience in the FBI.
He was a public defender and he was a special prosecutor.
Was he ever a member of the FBI?
No, but
he doesn't have the merit to have
hold
that
on a
job. All
second.
right, let's do another example.
But
what experience does Linda McMahon?
Now she wants to go away from that because he got her right there where she didn't want to let him finish talk, because she's knowing that she's wrong. And this is the problem with most ladies of these Ibarasi women. They don't want to admit when they're wrong. They always want to be right. And you know the simp Phillip Scott is going to defend her. Let's go.
What experience does Linda McMahon have to run?
She ran the Small Business Administration in the first term, which is a big, big organization. She was the head of the SBA.
When she was the CEO of WWE,
I'm not even talking about that. She ran the SBA.
One of her employees was engaging in pedophilic behavior with their ring boys under her watch.
I'm not going to defend that.
And now she is somehow qualified to be responsible for all of America's children?
Hold on a second. She was previously a cabinet secretary and then became a different cabinet secretary. That's like a one-to-one.
Yeah, and then before that, she was enabling a pedophile.
So what you're first of all, I don't know about that instance. If that's true, that's wrong.
That's very much true. How do you not know about that, Charlie?
I don't know about
very much.
Okay. Again,
public information. It's really important to know that the head of the Department of Education is currently in a lawsuit.
But let me finish the point, which is that the WWE can be easily made fun of. That's a serious business, though. It's a multi-billion-dollar business.
It is, that engaged in pedophilic activity.
Of which I denounce. I don't support that. However, she was head of the SBA, and now she's head of the Department of Education. Tell me another unqualified person.
Another unqualified person?
Is Marco Rubio
unqualified?
Okay.
No, actually, I think Marco is slightly more qualified.
Let's talk about Hegseth. He's the most qualified because he actually accepted enemy fire and lost loved ones and friends of his own.
That doesn't make you...
Hold on.
Dude,
To
that doesn't give
to
you-
run the
He's getting
U.S.
pissed
military,
off.
to be a warrior, not
He's
just an
pissed.
academic general, that's very important.
Look, dude, I respect veterans. My boyfriend's a veteran. I love veterans. That being said, not every person who is a veteran is qualified to run the Department of Defense.
I think he's also shown the last couple of weeks he's doing a pretty phenomenal job. The prior head of the DOD, Lloyd Austin, could barely climb up a flight of stairs. Pete Hegseth is up at 5 a.m. doing PT with the troops, running miles, and then doing an entire day at the Pentagon. And you might say that doesn't matter. I actually think physical fitness and being a good example to our troops is very important when you're the head of the Department of Defense.
Okay, but being the head of the Department of Defense is not about doing push-ups.
Hold on, but first of all, it's actually just refreshing versus Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin. But secondly, I will say the criteria is that he's a warrior's warrior. He's someone that was in the front lines actually received medals and knows what it's like to lose loved ones. And the other people that were qualified, Naima, were people that got us in endless wars, people that never saw combat. I think it's finally time that we have someone in combat that runs the Secretary of Defense. I think that's immensely qualified.
Okay, sure. So we'll take Pete Hegseth for Department of Defense.
Yes, he's
we'll
doing a
take
great job.
someone who enabled pedophilia for the Department of Education.
That's an unfair
We'll take Cash Patel, who
categorization.
has never worked in the FBI.
He was a prosecutor, so the FBI's a...
Dude, do you remember what he said when he first got
do you
the
want to
nomination?
do you want to go back to Cash Patel for a
He
second?
said, yeah. I'm like, this is sick.
Okay,
That
can
is
we
an
go back to
incredible
Cash
thing
Patel,
to say.
though?
That
He
is like
is.
Can we go-
insanely
He's losing it.
inappropriate.
Can we go
He's
back
losing
to
the
Cash
bit.
Patel?
He's losing his
So-
debate.
He was himself a prosecutor that tried cases. That's a law enforcement mechanism. I think they're...
Right. So as you heard there, you know, every point that he tried to make, Charlie Kirk, she was cooking him on it. He wanted to go on meritocracy. She cooked him on that. Listen, the whole system that we have in this country is not built on merit. It's built on white supremacy. Because if that was the case, built on merit, black people would be running everything in this country because we are 10 times better because they forced us to be 10 times better. We had to be 10 times more educated, 10 times more experienced. We had to know all the rules and regulations of any kind of handbook. We have to know it all. They don't know anything. Going to a meritocracy and actually instituting that, they would go to the bottom overnight with a meritocracy. They really don't want a meritocracy in this country because they couldn't compete. They wouldn't even get a job. Black folks for sure would be up there. Asians would be up there. All kinds of people be up there. But them, a lot of them are living in these rural areas that they don't have no education like that. They really don't.
What?
Now, this is their man though, Charlie Kirk. This is the guy that they looked at as a hero. That's their hero. Couldn't even deal with a young college girl. And this young lady wasn't the only one that handed him his lunch. There's plenty of people that handed Charlie Kirk his lunch, right? But I just when I originally saw this video, I said, man, Charlie Kirk, you know, all that mess he be talking, but when he's actually challenged, he can't back none of it up. All is made up, lying. I'm white and I say so, and that's how it is talking to a lot of them, just like that. They don't really know what they're talking about. They regurgitate.
Dude, you've been exposed so many times in many situations. You should not be even talking. Charlie Kirk have done more for black people than you ever did for black people.
Black propaganda. You know, I'm white and I say so. You know what I'm saying? And even when and this is my thing, why I'm very slow to even talk to them, is because even when you hit them like that and prove that, you know, you're right, they know you're right, they still gonna be set in their lies. They still gonna be set in their falsehoods. They still gonna be set in I'm white and I say so. That's why a lot of times I'm like, man, I don't waste my time going back and forth with them. For what? Listen, it's okay if you go back and forth with somebody and they actually learn something from you, but these people are not trying to learn a thing. They just want to maintain this system, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, Charlie Kirk got cooked. He got cooked. So that's a messiah, right? You know, he.
Listen, at the end of the day, this guy, man, this guy is all over the place. He wish he was Charlie Kirk. He wish
he can't even handle a college girl.
He wish he had to reach Charlie Kirk. He wish he had the moves and decision making.
But you know, I mean, hey, he was the best they had. He was about the best, and they ain't lost him. So, yeah, what they gonna do now?
So disrespectful. So disrespectful, y'all. Hey, this is a quick video. I'm just gonna say, Phillip Scott, you full of crap. You're a pro-black simp. You're caping for people, and you're the same guy who once cared for Trump, and now all of a sudden you don't like Trump. You don't like his administration. Make that make sense, y'all. Be careful with these people out here. That's pretty much about it.